Hi there, and in this session we're going to explore in detail forum mindset. Forum mindset, formerly known as Gestalt, for many of you you'll be familiar with that term, and it's now being called forum mindset because this is the come from place in our forum. And when we're giving advice, the typical words that come out of our mouth when we're giving advice is the word you. You is typically always one of those words that's followed by the shoulds, the woulds, the coulds, have you thought of, and even the sneaky advice, if I were you, right? How many times have we heard of that sneaky advice, if I were you? Oh, no, I'm giving an experience, but actually we're giving advice. So advice is also about opinion, right? It's my opinion of what I think you should do. So we want to stay away from this territory, and this is all in the future. This is all future-based. Think about for a moment when your mother or father gives you some advice. What's that like? I know for me, when my father gives me advice, like, seriously, Dad, come on, give me some credit, and I just kind of go, really? And we don't want that energy coming into our forum, because this territory invites defensiveness, and we don't want defensiveness energy in our forum. Also, when we give advice, this is what's happening in our relationship. The advice giver is here. The advice giver is elevating themselves, and the person receiving the advice is actually then less than. And so we don't want to be creating that energy and dynamics in our forum, because we're peers. We're peers. This is a peer group organization. Our forum is based on our peerness with one another. So this is not what forum is about. If I were to give you advice, where does the responsibility sit with? If I give you advice right now to do something, who has responsibility for that? I do. Am I disempowering you or empowering you when I give you advice? I'm actually disempowering you when I give you advice. I'm taking away that whole thought process of allowing you to think it through. So if it goes wrong, if I give you some advice to implement in your business and it costs you $100,000, whose door are you going to come knocking on? You're going to come knocking on my door because I was the one who gave you advice. Really, as a forum buddy, I don't want that knock. Thank you very much. So we want to stay outside of this territory. Also, I'm not here in forum. I'm not spending 4 hours of my time every month to disempower you as my fellow forum buddy. Neither do I want to be disempowered by one of my forum buddies. So let's stay away from this territory, which is advice. So experience share. The words that come out of our mouth, I. When I share an experience, it's about I. I did this, I did that. We're saying it's about the story. But the story is not just let me create a story and stick an I in front of it, which some people think is kind of a cool thing to do. It's actually got to be real. Because if it's not real, then that's a fantasy. And we're not here to spend 4 hours with each other and share our fantasies. Well, some of you may be, but that's not really what forum's about. So we share from our perspective of I. It's real, it's in the past. But what part of this story are we actually sharing? We're not sharing the he said, the she said, I did this, I did that. We're sharing a little bit about the circumstances, but then we're sharing a lot about the learnings, the discoveries, the insights. We're sharing the nuggets. Here's what really, for me, experience share is all about. When I share my experience, I'm really sharing my experience, and I'm offering you, the listener, a bunch of ideas, a bunch of solutions perhaps, a bunch of insights. And as the listener, you're going, thank you very much. I think I'll take that one. But when I'm over here in advice, all I'm doing is say, take that. Maybe you don't want that. So this is what I'm doing in here in experience. I'm actually giving you a bunch of gifts, and then you can choose which ones you want to take. And what makes this more impactful is as I'm sharing my experiences, it's not just I'm sharing this experience for the person who's going through the deep dive experience. This is I'm sharing my experiences for everybody around this table because we're all part of the deep dive experience. So what happens to this seesaw or teeter-totter over this side of the flip chart when we're in experience share? We actually level it off. So when I share my experience over this side, I'm not more privileged than you. I'm not putting myself in a place of rank and privilege, which I'm doing over here. I'm actually level. I'm even with you. I'm one of your peers. This is my experience. Take it, leave it. You know, this is what I have to offer you here. I'm not attached to the outcome. Over here, by sharing with you, where does the responsibility lie? I'm actually putting the responsibility on you, the other person, to take away from the experience that you're hearing of what's best for you. What do you like best from that? What would work best for you? That's your call to make. And when it comes to disempower or empower, what am I doing over here? I'm actually empowering you. I'm actually empowering you because I'm putting that responsibility into your court. I'm enabling you to make the best decision for you. We've got so many other places we can go to. We don't need to spend an additional 4 hours in this territory. Let's have the gift and the privilege of sharing with each other our experiences and our gifts and our nuggets and our insights of what we can learn from one another, having had those real experiences. Let's face it, most people that give advice have not been there, done it, and got the t-shirt. They've read a WhatsApp message, a LinkedIn post, and they're regurgitating somebody else's insight, and it doesn't make it work. So stay here in this territory and see the magic for yourself.